You're listening to The Tales We Tell, a podcast about spooky stories, unsolved mysteries, and local lore. I'm your host, Hannah Parch.
And I'm Morgan.
Yay!
Hello.
Hello. You're not Katy.
I'm not Katy.
You're
No.
Morgan.
I'm Morgan. Yeah.
Do you want to introduce yourself to everyone?
I'm Morgan. I'm a long-time listener, first-time guest.
It makes it sound like we just plucked you out.
They found me on the corner, and I had a sign that said, "We'll do podcast for food."
She had a sticker on her cup, and you're like, hey, do you want to be on the show?
I'm a great candidate. It's a job interview.
Oh my gosh. You're Morgan.
Yep.
I feel like I've mentioned you enough on the show. People should know who you are. Maybe.
I don't know. I'm not caught up to recent episodes, and we just met each other not too long ago, and it was like best friends at first sight.
Say, but we're best friends, so it's like we've only known each other 6 months, but we are best friends and soulmates.
That's how you know. That's how you know it's real.
Yes, except you're a traitor and you're leaving.
Yeah, I'm moving. Mm-hmm.
And it's the worst day of my life.
I'm sorry.
You're not moving today, but
soon, very soon,
sooner than I would like.
Agreed.
But we're gonna have a great throwing away party.
Throwing away party. You know what? It tracks. It tracks.
Gosh. I'm gonna rename it that on the Facebook page.
I don't know. I love the puns that you put on the Facebook thing.
I came up with those on my own.
Love them.
It says Utah will be missed.
We're moving to Utah, by the way.
Yes, hilarious. I forget what else I said.
There's something in like the description.
I
That
said
was really
there's
good.
gonna be like inside joke themed drinks.
Yeah, not the
But bring your own.
Yeah. Inside jokes, but also there's not a lot. So bring your own stuff too.
Half the theme is based on a really stupid inside joke, and the rest is based on Utah.
Yeah.
There's going to be Utah themed food and inside joke themed cocktails.
Do you want it to be a surprise? Because what the heck is Utah themed food?
I mean, it's a cookout, and they happen to have Utah specific sides.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Like a macaroni salad?
Yeah, but better. And what it is sounds better. I'm going to try to make it.
Jello salad? Ooh.
No, but there will be Jello shots inside the communion
I'm down for that.
And I'm going to find a picture. Well, I don't know.
Don't surprise. I want some of it to be a surprise.
Okay. I ordered some of the decorations today, and I need to order another one. Oh my gosh, we're laughing so that we don't cry.
Literally.
It's great. By the way, everyone, Morgan's here because Katy's out of town, and we didn't communicate well. So she told me Thursday. She thought we were recording Thursday, and I did not. I was not aware of that, so I didn't have anything ready. And then she was like, on Thursday, she was like, "Oh, well, I'm going out of town this weekend, so."
So here I am.
So we scrambled, and here's Morgan.
Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. I have to tell you my embarrassing story.
Okay, I'm so ready.
Because the actual story is not super long. Okay, so I went down to the homestead yesterday, which is what we call the house in Orlando, my grandma's house.
Mm-hmm.
And I went down because it's been like a month since we were down there. And I was like, probably need to mow the grass at least. We're going to go down there again in a week, but like whatever. So first of all, we sprayed home defense last time we were there. So many dead roaches just all over the house, which like thankful for, but also gross because I had to sweep them all up myself.
They're alive at one point.
I know. And then the biggest one had like melded to the floor a little bit. So he like broke apart when I tried to I left his remains there for Jarek to get.
Like, not you, though.
Not
you
me.
stay.
Yeah. And I also didn't check inside the guest bathroom downstairs. And I did not check upstairs, both of which I'm scared to do by myself. Anyways, so I was like, I'll mow the grass because we got that riding mower.
Right.
And I'd done it once. I was like, how hard can it be? Also, there's like no service down there. So
It's also been raining a lot, so that yard must have been...
It was not...
sloppy.
Yes, a little bit. And Jarek was like, well, just send me a picture of the lawnmower when you get there, and I'll, like, remind you how to start it. That picture did not go through, so I just kind of, like, winged it until it started. So I was like, okay, this is great. Got it started. Start mowing the grass. Start going around the back. Immediately run over a garden hose. I don't know if you've ever done that. It makes your lawnmower stop. So I was like, crap. No. So I got off and I'm trying to like pull this fucking garden hose out. And it's like obviously wrapped around all the blades and I can't, whatever. Thank goodness there was a guy next door who...
He's like, you need help, little lady.
He really was. He was like, do you want some help? And I was like, yes, please. And he doesn't live in the house next door, but he does like the yard.
Oh, okay.
So he came over, God bless him, stuck his arm all up in... I was so nervous.
So scared. I would never.
Because the thing also like...
On, off, upside down, never.
Yeah, I was
no.
I'm going to hold this thing up. And like, I'm sure it would have been fine if I had told him like, I need to put it down for a second. Mm. Because for whatever reason, I can't figure out how to make the blade part lift up or whatever. He had his arms all up in there. And you know those intrusive thoughts that are like, what if I accidentally...
You don't know me, sir. This could have been my plan.
Anyways, he got it out. It's destroyed.
Yay.
Like, that garden
Thanks, Good Samaritan.
Usable. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. He like tells me, he's like, we're a lawn care service. Like, I'll leave my card if you ever like, because I explained, I was like, we don't live here full time.
He's like, actually, this is all to market my own business.
He was probably like, you should not be mowing your
that's literally what
grass,
he was saying,
ma'am.
He was like, by the way, don't do this again. Here's my card.
He walks away, and then I could not get it started again. So then he came back after several minutes, and was like, had to help me.
I would have gave up. I would have gone inside.
Like, okay. Wait, it gets worse. Okay, so I mow my grass. First of all, I massacred so many crickets, I'm sure, because that whole thing was just, I would ride by and there would just be like a dozen crickets like running for their lives. I don't know why there's so many in the yard. So I do the backyard, I do the front yard. I'm almost done with the front yard and the lawnmower dies. And I was like, crap. No. Fuck. So I called Jarek. I was like, well, the oil light is on. Like, it says check the oil. But I did that, and there appears to be plenty of oil. He's like, well, check the gas. And I did that, and I was like, oh, there's no gas. Mm. And he was like, well, just leave it, and I'll figure it out when we go down there next week. I was like, I don't think you understand. The lawnmower is in the front yard.
Of the front yard.
And also the yard's very patchy because it's not done. And also it's supposed to rain like every day this week.
Yeah.
So he was like, well, can you just like put it in neutral and like push it into the garage? No, I cannot.
I am just a little girl.
I'm a baby. I can't do that.
Just a little
and also
girl.
It's not like a car. Like,
no,
you can't just push it and like turn the... Anyways. So he was like, go to the gas station, the one gas station in town. He's like, see if they have a gas can, you know, whatever. I was like, okay. Easy. That sounds easy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I go into the one gas station in town.
Like, I buy... We don't have gas.
They have plenty of gas. Don't worry. I buy a gas can for $15. Jesus. I know.
They have a monopoly. They can charge that.
They're like, we know we're the only gas cans for miles. And then I go back to my car and I was like, I was trying to do that thing where like, you know, there's a part of you that's like, okay, I don't want to do this in front of people because I don't know what I'm doing and I don't want to be embarrassed and I don't like, I had that in my head and I was like, just do it. It's fine. Like you need to be a grown up and just like get over it. Nothing's going to happen, whatever. And also like, it's okay if people see you like, you know, figuring
really
out because that had already happened twice.
Right. At this point, your embarrassment should be on an all-time low.
I put this gas can on the ground and I do the stuff with the gas. I put the gas nozzle into the gas can. As soon as I pull the little like button thing to start the gas, it immediately overflows. And then when I had done that, the little thing you could latch it on in case you want to, somehow that had gotten stuck. So I pull it out
and there's just gas going everywhere. You gotta run. Do the shut off button. This is what they train you for.
There were literally 3 old men directly next to me. Like, not even at the pump next to me. Like, on the other side of the pump I was on. They're like, what's going on? I was like, I don't know how to make it stop. Oh my gosh. So I got it to stop.
My worst fear. Like,
it was so embarrassing. And then I was just like, okay, I like apologized to everyone.
Do
I
I help clean this up?
I know. I was like, do I need to go inside and tell someone that there's gasoline everywhere? I was like, I'm leaving. So I close everything up because I was like, well, it overflowed. So like the gas can's full. The gas can was not full. The gas can had like
you're not going to do it again at this
no.
point. No.
As soon as I picked it up and felt how light it was, I mean, there was like a swallow of gasoline in there. And I was like, it's fine. I'm leaving. I don't care. And then I get back to the house. My whole car smells like gasoline because it's on my feet.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
And I get out. I don't know if you ever used a gas can. They are the most complicated apparatuses that have ever been invented, and I don't know why.
I think the reason I'm laughing so much is I have never done this, so this is probably 100% me if I were to ever try this.
Well, I've already had an experience where I had to call my brother-in-law because I had spent 30 minutes trying to figure out how to get gas out of a gas can because
it probably has like a locking thing, right?
Yeah, and like there's a weird, they're needlessly confusing. I'm like, I just need a container to hold the gas and then pour it into something else.
Right.
So I get the little nozzle and I put it on. I'm like, this has to be easy, right?
Yeah.
Go to the gas and there's like the spout and I start to pour it and it starts coming out where the spout is attached to the thing. I was like, motherfucker. I was ready to literally just leave everything and drive home. I was like, I can't do this. I've already lost part of the precious little gas that I
splash. That was probably not even enough for you to finish the yard anyway, even if you got it in.
I was so I took the nozzle off and just like poured the rest in, you know.
It's all over you
whatever.
Anyway, so
I was like, who knows if this is gonna like blow up or whatever. Much like the water I spilled all over our surge protector before we started recording. Anyways, I put what was in there in and I was like, I just got to get these couple patches done and then get it in the fucking garage. Thank God I had enough.
Oh, thank goodness.
I almost just drove it straight into the garage and be like, this yard can just look like shit for a week before we come back. But I got the little patches done and got it in the garage.
Okay, so silver lining is at least the yard got done.
Mostly. It does look like because I didn't like go back and try to get like the edges super because it's a riding mower and I'm like, you can't really get the edges or anyways. I put it back in the garage and I went inside and washed my feet. And then my plan had been like, I'm gonna go down and do the lawn and then I'll have a few hours because I had to come back by a certain time yesterday. I was like, I'll have a couple hours where I can like, you know, relax and do some sewing or whatever. And so I tried to sit down and like work on this quilt and I put on a movie and I was just so like traumatized or whatever that I got like 30 minutes into this movie and I was like, I'm going home. I don't want to be here.
So, moral of the story, are you going to call those lawn people?
No. Moral of the story is that Jarek is in charge of lawn
doing
care.
the lawn going forward.
And every time we leave, he has to ensure that there's enough gas in the lawnmower.
Beautiful. You know what? That's great. That's a great plan.
I should never have been mowing the lawn in the first place. No.
But you know what? Good job for trying.
Thank you.
You gave it an amazing effort.
You can never go back to that gas station again.
Nope, you sure can't. Never show your face there again.
It's one of 3 open establishments in that town.
Because I'm sure they'll look at you and be like, oh, you're that girl.
I know, and I have no idea who those men are. So like, and it's a small town. So I'm like.
Well, and I feel like most small towns here, there's just like this dedicated group of people who just like hang out at establishments.
Yes. And this was the same gas station where there's a cash points So where that man approached me and
Yes.
said his weird little thing, but then asked for a quarter or something.
Right. Yes.
So, you know. And I don't know, like, if the guy who was at the cash register, like,
Did
later
you not tell
went out.
anybody that there was gas everywhere?
No, because those 3 men knew about it. And I was like,
You're like, well, hopefully
they'll
they
tell
tell them.
someone. I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, I certainly was not going to go inside and be like, hi,
Hi, there's flammable liquid all over.
It's a gas station. There's flammable liquid everywhere, right? Like, it should be assumed that any stain you see on the ground is, like, something flammable, right?
I guess.
I don't know.
It's
And
probably
then
fine.
I had to stop at a gas station on my way home. Like,
Now you're just going to have PTSD for gas
I
stations.
know. And I needed to go inside and get, like, a snack or something because I was starving. And I was like, I'm not going to leave the little trigger on. Because I'll do that sometimes,
Yeah,
even
I
though
do
it says
too.
you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
But that's never done me wrong before.
Right.
But I was like, nope, knowing my luck, I will do that and I'll come back out and there'll be gas just like overflowing into everything.
I would freak out.
So I had to stay. And then I went inside and they had a weird system where like the guy at the cash register couldn't scan anything. So he had to like yell to his wife to ask how much my tea and poppables were. I was like, I just want to go. And the whole reason I went down was to mow the grass. But it was like, it's a Saturday. I can stop at Bertie County Peanuts on my way and restock myself. They are suddenly closed on Saturdays. Last time,
Why?
I
Everything's
don't
closed
know.
on Sundays. Don't be closed
I
on
know.
Saturdays.
And last time we checked, they were open until 12 on Saturdays. So I planned around getting to there before 12.
And didn't even matter.
And I was 45
what
minutes.
a day.
No, I was 45 minutes into my drive before I finally decided to check. And I was like, I'll just make sure it's 12 and not like.
And they're like,
11.
actually closed.
And they were like, updated 3 weeks ago. Actually, we're closed on Saturdays now. And I was like, please.
I just want a W. I just want to win.
And I bought some chocolate covered pecans at the dollar store that I stopped at when I got into town, and they were terrible. So I couldn't even have those. It was.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
My condolences for your day.
I'm not leaving the house today.
No, that's why I don't leave the house ever. That's why I work from home. That's why this is the first time I've driven my car in probably like 2 weeks. I just don't leave.
And then when I drove home, I had to drive home with the windows down because my car smelled like gasoline. I was gonna like give my
You're huffing gas inside your car.
and I had Kelly with me, and I was like, God, I'm just take me back.
All right.
Anyways.
Well, thanks, Jarek, for always doing the grass in the future, because that's what we need to do going forward.
Yep, and thank you for fixing the yard when we go there next week, because that's what you will do.
Yay!
And I told him, because you know he works, so he has this Saturday off for my birthday, and I was like, well, you know, we're doing dinner with you guys Thursday, and so we can go down Friday and spend Friday evening, Saturday, and then come back Sunday to hang out down there.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, are you okay if we take 2 cars so that I can go down early on Friday? If I didn't have therapy, I'd go down like that morning, and then you can come down when you get off work. And he's like, well, I get off work at 5. And I was like, I'm getting peanuts at some point.
This is the last thing I do.
Like,
I'm getting my damn peanuts.
And you know, nowhere around there, like there aren't other stores that like sell that. Like I was like, maybe the Food Lion in Windsor sells Bertie County peanuts, because why
they're
would
close enough?
Yeah, and I'm like, why wouldn't you be like selling to other distributors?
Absolutely.
To, like, no, you can buy this very small, like the little
like 10
a taster
ounce
pack or
pack?
whatever. Yeah, and I was like,
I don't want that.
I don't want that. I need the giant like 40 ounce.
I need the Costco.
Yes, and I already
peanuts.
I'd already told myself I'm buying 2 of the honey roasted, because I can sit. Oh my gosh, they're so good. And I tried getting a store regular other. No, they're not good.
No, when you find your like one thing, especially when it's like a small business like that, they're doing it well.
I know.
You can't go and get Planters.
I know. And then Jarek's trying to make me feel bad about my nut addiction that I had. I was like,
you shouldn't feel bad about your nut addiction.
I know. Well, because the other thing I've discovered is dark chocolate covered almonds from Target.
Love dark chocolate anything.
Right? And I said something about it, and he's like, you really need to stop eating so many nuts. I'm like, nuts are like one of the healthiest snacks I could be choosing.
Right.
Sir.
Right. What nice protein, a little bit of
I know. I'm like, if this is the sweet treat that I'm going to indulge in, is there chocolate covered
better than
almonds?
a full sleeve of Oreos. I could be doing that. I could be eating frosting by the spoonful.
Sir. I could be on my cookout milkshake kick right now. Like,
speaking of the watermelon ones.
Oh, I don't like watermelon.
That's my second favorite one.
Really? What's your first favorite?
Oh, the eggnog. Oh, I love eggnog.
Every now and then we come across some stark differences between us.
Oh, I love it so much.
I actually have never tried eggnog. It just doesn't sound good.
Okay, so I would highly recommend you try the cookout shake because it's cold and it's already in like an ice cream form. If you have it in like liquid form, it's very thick. Okay. And if you can't get over
why
that,
did you imply that regular eggnog is warm?
I guess it's not. You're right. It's not. I was thinking more of like the viscosity of it, not like the temperature of it.
Is it served warm?
I was thinking not cold. I guess frozen is what I should have said. Because boiled eggnog, it's just scrambled eggs.
I do have scrambled eggs. Gross.
Anyway, highly recommend.
Okay.
They only have it in December.
Maybe I'll try it. Maybe I'll find someone who will order it since it can't be you.
Well, I could be back for Christmas.
Okay, good. Come back for Christmas.
Okay, just so that you can try the eggnog
shake. So we'll go to cookout. You get an eggnog milkshake.
Deal.
Let me try it first, and then we'll decide if I want to order.
Oh, deal. I'm in.
Go back through the drive-thru.
Let's do it. We'll just do another loop through.
Listen, I think maybe the universe is just trying to be like, I'm going to embarrass you in every way possible so that nothing else can.
That's how I live my life.
I'm like,
honestly,
am I embarrassed?
Am I ever going to see these people again? Probably not.
Yours is different. You're leaving.
I guess that's a good point. Good point.
Yeah,
the one gas station near the homestead is a pretty big place to fumble.
I know, because now when I'm down there by myself, I'm like, I just have the Family Dollar and then that weird like country grocery that's down the road, that's
general store.
Yeah, but it looks like it should be a gas station, and it has like bars on all of the windows.
Oh my god!
So the only way you know it's open is the big open sign, but it looks.
Never go in there.
Jarek's been in there once. He did get a really yummy. He got eggs there because that's what we needed. But then he got like it looked like a homemade like cake, like honey bun cake thing. It was good. I'm not planning on going in there by myself, but the nearest town is like 15 minutes away, so I guess I'm just I don't know. I need to drink some water. By the way, it is morning time, which is why we're not drinking wine.
Well, it's like afternoon time at this point, but
it's 6 minutes after noon. So anyways, do you want to hear a story?
I so do want to hear a story.
Okay. So, how's your French, by the way?
Terrible.
Okay. Well, when I was writing this and I was thinking Katy was going to be recording, Katy's great at French. Katy, I think
like
maybe
she also
speaks
talks about
French.
Latin too.
Yeah, she can do some Latin.
Yeah.
She did Catholic school. So.
Okay.
And she spent a lot of time in New Orleans. So she's got the French and the Latin.
Well, as we covered in the beginning, I am not Katy, but I will do the best I can.
Well, the story takes place in France.
Yay.
So, everyone just bear with me. Also, if you want to play a drinking game, you can drink for every person named Jean.
Okay.
Or Pierre.
Okay.
Because it's basically everyone.
Well, I'll drink my coffee to both of those. So by the end, I'm just going to be hyper as heck.
Okay.
And I hope everyone enjoys that.
And I have to basically change one of the names because, whatever.
There's too many Pierres.
There's too many Jeans.
Too many
and
Jeans.
the male and female version of Jean are like the same. It's like there's Jean and then there's Jean. And I'm like,
wait.
Well, one of them's going to be like, what did I say? Jane. I'm going to call her Jane.
Okay. All right.
Because they said it's the French version of Jane.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Okay. You ready?
I'm ready.
1603.
Mm-hmm.
Spring.
Oh, beautiful.
Springtime. And we are in La Roche-Chalaise, which is south of France.
Okay.
South France. Southern part of France. It's near Bordeaux.
Beautiful wine.
I was going to say of the wine.
Beautiful.
Which we know of the wine. Okay. So we have Marguerite Poyer, who is 13. We have Jean Gaboret, who is 18. And then we have another girl that we know nothing about. We don't know her name or age.
Oh, no.
Her name's Morgan. I don't know. It's Morgan. Age
Oh, yay.
29.
Good job.
Okay.
You got it. You're good.
I had to think. Okay. So they are tending to their cattle in the fields because I guess when you're 13.
Just the 3 of them?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
They're just hanging out. I
They're
think they had
girlies.
separate flocks, and they're just like meeting up.
Are they related or?
No.
Okay,
They're
just like
friends.
They just got cattle.
They're just gal pals.
All right, cool. Cow pals.
Cow pals. I love that. They kept calling them, I think they kept calling them like cow herds or something. And I was like, that's a weird name for them.
Words. Cow herds.
Cow herds. I was like, can we just
I don't love that.
no, just call them like working girls or something. I don't know. Cattle tenders. Cowgirls. Yeah. Shepherds.
Shepherds.
Some
Wait,
kind.
shepherds are for sheep though.
True, but they mention a lot of other weird.
Oh, so they're just farmers. They're
like farm
cattle
hands.
people. Farm hands. Yeah. Okay. I'm here.
I referred to Jarek as a stable boy the other night because he was trying to argue. He said that they were drinking that Busch Light for farmers. It's got like corn on the can or something.
What? Okay.
And I was like, you guys shouldn't be drinking this. You're not farmers.
I'm not a farmer.
And Jarek was like, I'm the only one in this family who's worked on a farm, so I am a farmer. And I said, you were a stable boy. He's worked on horse farms. I'm like, it's not the farmers they're referring to.
Yeah, with the corn on the side of the can. I don't think
not what the Busch Light people are referring to. You were a stable boy. Okay, so our girls are hanging out with their cattle. Their community had recently suffered several wolf attacks. So children who had been tending sheep, geese, pigs, or other farm animals, it was a children's job apparently to just tend to the animals.
Sure, the adults needed a break.
They were doing other things. I don't know. But several of these children had been taken
by the wolves.
By wolves.
Oh my
yes.
God.
This is like Boy Who Cried Wolf era, where like that was just a thing that happened. There was one instance where a wolf had gone into a home and taken
through the doggy door?
I don't know.
Door down.
It was probably like a mud hut.
Yeah,
probably
you're
just
probably right.
dug through the wall.
Probably right.
They probably didn't have doors. All laughing aside, it did take a baby.
Oh,
and
no.
Yeah, sorry, and ate it. Sorry.
Oh no.
Sorry. Marguerite, our 13-year-old, had been attacked by a wolf 3 or 4 weeks earlier while she was watching her cows. The wolf had jumped on her, torn her cloak, scratched her face, done something to her face, but then she was able to hit it with her staff, and it ran off.
Oh my God.
But some of her injuries were still, like, visible on her face.
Poor girlie.
I know, she's 13.
Oh my gosh. This definitely seems like an adult job.
Right? I know. I'm like, isn't the whole point of like a cattle tender to like
scare
make sure
off
that
predators
and
like you're big and like, oh, look at me.
Yeah.
I'm a big adult. Stay away from me. But you're gonna put the 13-year-old
small
girl.
13-year-old girl.
You're just asking for it at that
I know,
point.
like,
I mean,
you're literally saying this is only slightly better than just having our cows wander around by themselves. Because if a predator comes, what are you gonna do?
Oh,
I mean, she scared it off, and the cows were fine.
Good.
The story
and
made
she fought it off, which
did.
like, go girl.
Good for her,
Yeah.
because I mean, I guess I would, but
I would try.
All I can think about for animal attacks is, did you ever see The Revenant?
No.
Is that what it's called?
Is that the one with the bear in
Yeah.
DiCaprio, right?
Yes.
Mm-mm.
That scene, all I can think about is when he's getting mauled by a bear and tries to play dead, and the bear's like, Nope. I know that you're faking it. Terrible. It's awful.
But then he like kills it and wears it as a hat, right?
I guess he is wearing a bear skin. He doesn't kill it that time.
Huh.
He shoots it several times and it just makes it mad.
Oh God.
It's really bad. It's just... I'm gonna stop reading my animal attacks. Gosh. Okay, so Marguerite described the wolf that attacked her. She said it was shorter and fatter than a regular wolf. With
Body shaming wolves.
I
Come on
know.
now.
Smaller head,
Okay.
reddish fur,
Okay.
and a short tail, which makes me think that it wasn't a
That's just a dog.
like a small dog actually.
That's your neighbor's Yorkie. What are you talking about?
She's like this small animal. She's like describing it. People are like,
Wait a second.
that's not a
wolf.
It's not a wolf that you're describing.
Okay, so red hair, short and fat,
a short
tail,
and a small
head.
That's...
I'm only getting like pig visualizations in my head.
I was thinking like a fox with a short tail.
Okay.
Or like
maybe a coyote. Well, no, they're not usually like fat.
That's true. They're usually the opposite of that.
Mm-hmm. They're
very
usually teeny, tiny, skinny.
Yeah. So maybe like a little pocket pitty that's
Pocket pig.
with a small head though.
In the south of France.
I was gonna say pit bulls do famously have large heads.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
Visualize in your head.
All right. But she's also being attacked. So like honestly,
true. And she's also 13.
I would
And it's also
not,
1603.
that's a traumatic. She probably saw what she needed to see to get it done, you know?
Probably.
Gosh.
Okay, so they are discussing the recent wolf attacks. The girlies are. When suddenly they encounter another cow shepherd person, not a wolf. Sorry.
And I was like, oh no.
And his name is Jean Grenier. Oh, I'm gonna take a drink. I really should have put a straw in this to make it.
You want
easier.
my other straw? I
No,
haven't
it's
used
okay.
it.
Is that the one in your coffee? Or
No,
is that
this
your
is my
water?
coffee. That's my water.
Don't want your gross coffee straw.
I need a drink for enjoyment and a drink for hydration.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I might make more coffee after this. Okay, so Jean
Right.
Grenier. He worked for a local farmer named Pierre Combo. Pierre was one of the names. Is it Jean or Pierre? Is everyone's name?
I remember.
And the girls like had encountered him before. I guess they like knew who he was. He wasn't like a total stranger. He was described. So he's 13, almost 14.
Okay.
But he was real small for his age and malnourished.
Oh gosh.
Not good.
He's gonna get attacked by a wolf.
He looked much younger than 13 or 14. I'm picturing, do you remember?
Once again, where are your parents? They're choosing you to go out there?
I'll tell you where his parents are, don't worry. Remember the kid from Nanny McPhee who, he was in something else too. He was in like
The one who always looks young for forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm picturing him because
wasn't he also in Game of Thrones?
Yes. Yeah. But like in Nanny McPhee, he's like 15. And
right, but he looks like 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm picturing like him.
Okay,
just someone who like looks younger. Another source described his physical appearance as such. Quote, his hair was tawny red and thickly matted, falling over his shoulders and completely covering his narrow brow. His small, pale, gray eyes twinkled with an expression of horrible ferocity and cunning from deep sunken hollows.
Oh my god. I mean, at least his eyes twinkled. That was like the only positive
I know
kind of descriptor we got in there.
More from that source. Strong white teeth that looked like fangs, large hands, black nails that were pointed like claws.
Okay, I'm sorry. Is he a werewolf? This is the red-haired wolf. I'm sorry. Is this not the red-haired wolf?
I mean, if you want to take a drink, you can.
They literally said he has fangs and claws. Like
fangs and claws and red hair. And
silver eyes?
And
like, come on.
And a short tail and a small head. In all seriousness, he also possibly had like a cognitive impairment.
Oh no.
So the sad part of this story, besides all of it, he was described as having the mentality and reasoning of like a 7 to 8 year old.
Oh wow. Okay.
So not only did he look very young,
he acted young.
He had like the reasoning of someone very young. And later in life, it was said that he, quote, struggled with simple things which were common sense. And I get kind of the idea, as we will see with his interactions, that he like, so he's in like biologically the body of like a 14, so like a teenage boy. So he's got like teenage boy brain hormones and stuff, but like he's also in a body that looks much younger, and his reasoning skills are not.
So there's some frustration there.
Yeah. So I think he tries to overcompensate because he does have like those teenage boy hormones.
Right. He still wants a girlie.
Yeah, he does still want a girlie.
It's kind of hard for him to get a girlie.
Yes. Because he looks like the little boy from Nanny McPhee.
Right.
Who is a cutie?
Well, he doesn't look like him. Let's be honest. He does have fangs and claws.
Although that kid does have like kind of wolf-like eyes, right? If he played a werewolf in a show, it wouldn't be
it wouldn't be too far-fetched. I would believe it.
Like, give him a little bit more shaggy features and some fangs and some pointed black.
Is he also the little kid that was in Love Actually?
I don't know. I've never seen Love Actually, but he's probably like 13 in there.
I'm definitely coming back in December. We're gonna do a full thing. I'm making a full thing out of it.
Okay. I won't complain about that. I might keep you here forever. Just destroy your plane ticket.
I'm just like, I literally can't leave the Parch House. I'm stuck.
Also, I just implied that you're gonna have a printed out paper plane ticket that I can destroy.
When I see people have those like in an airport, I'm like, how did you get that? I
Where
don't even know how you get that anymore. How did you print this out? Do you also have a MapQuest for when you land?
Oh my gosh.
What are you doing?
Printed MapQuest.
Printed MapQuest.
And the phone numbers for taxi services. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Jean, you remember you said how did his parents? Right. Why is?
What are you doing? Yeah.
Well, he had a terrible home life, actually. Again, in all seriousness, his father was abusive.
No.
So we don't love that. And his mother was dead.
Oh gosh, but it really talks about his, how he presents himself, how he acts with past traumas along with.
Yeah, basically in the 21st century, this all makes perfect sense. Yeah. And in 1603, they were like the witchcraft. So, Jean had left home 3 months earlier after his father had severely beaten him for cooking and eating cabbage and bacon during Lent, which I guess was a big no-no. So understandably, this teenage child was like, I don't want to live here anymore.
I'm done.
So that's Jean. And he encounters the girlies in the field, and he says he wants to know which one of them was the most beautiful. And he really has his eye on Jane.
Oh, I thought it was going to be the non-named one. Like, ooh, no name in the corner.
Morgan, the 29-year-old, is hanging out with the 18 and 13-year-old.
Which one's the prettiest? Definitely the one we don't know their name.
We don't know anything about her. Well, and not the one that has wolf scars all over her face. Poor girl.
And still like fresh wolf scars. When you walk up to these girls and be like, which one's the prettiest?
Spoiler alert, it was Jane. So he says, which one of you is the most beautiful? And then he says, quote, I want to marry her. So if it's you, Jane, I want to marry you. And the girls were like, we're talking. We're busy.
What an official proposal.
Yeah, they don't take him seriously.
Poor kid.
Imagining what I just described, approaching you in a field and then being like, who's the prettiest? I want to marry them. And they're like,
which one of you wants to marry me?
They're like, maybe if we just keep talking, he'll go away.
And they're like, ha ha ha. Anyway.
So they kind of ignore him. So he like inserts himself into their conversation. He's like, what are you guys talking about? Wolf attacks? Cool.
By the way, I'm a fucking wolf.
He literally says, I run with a pack of 9 other wolves.
No.
Actually. Also, I have a magic wolf skin that turns me into a wolf specifically for an hour 3 times a week at dusk.
And you're not telling me Marguerite didn't look at him and be like, bitch.
I feel like they're now looking at his like fangs and black claws.
While he's
like,
saying that, they're like slowly looking him over and they're like, wait a second.
Why
does this actually make sense?
Yeah, if this was a movie, you'd see Marguerite having that like flashback moment.
She's like
the red-haired wolf.
Like Twilight. The cold ones. Cold skin. They sparkle in the sunlight.
Say it.
Say it.
Oh, I really wish that his name had been Jacob and he had been described slightly differently.
Yeah, that's definitely...
He had long flowing hair.
Beautiful tan skin.
Although, what if they had made Jacob look like Jean Grenier? Just like matted red hair.
Well, I mean, the entire time Bella is like, boy, not you. So it would kind of make a little bit more sense if he was less pretty for her being like, hey, boy, not you though.
And then his glow up would have also made a lot more sense because all they did was cut his hair.
Right. Yeah, he started like bench pressing and then they cut his hair and they're like, see,
and put him in some
look
jorts.
how cute. In some shorts. Look how cute he is now.
Oops, got a haircut.
But boy, still not you. Please leave.
But not you. You can have my daughter.
You named my daughter after the Loch Ness Monster.
Oh. Gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so he has his wolf skin.
Right.
That turns him into a wolf for only
an hour?
An hour? 3 times a week at dusk.
Does he get to pick the days?
That's what I'm wondering.
Is it just like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday
kind
of
like
situation?
Is it pre-designated? Like you have a schedule, or it only works those times, or you only get to use it thrice during the week?
Right.
I don't know. I'm gonna assume that he gets to pick the times.
He gets to pick.
Yeah. It seems like a weird.
Yeah, that's very specific.
Limitations for a magic wolf skin,
right.
But so this was also like a common belief, like at this time you didn't become a werewolf by getting bitten by a wolf. You got it was like you had to put on a wolf skin, and also that was something that was probably given to you by the devil, and also it was considered witchcraft. Like werewolves were witches.
Well, isn't there a story or a legend from Ireland? It's the Selkies, and they put on the seal skin, and women become seals.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Katy, do that creature feature.
Creature feature.
I
would assume it's around the same time, so
yeah,
it would kind of match with the
like
sharing
it makes
skin.
Sense,
yeah,
I guess. And they didn't know about bloodborne pathogens, so like our thoughts.
Well, and they're skinning a lot of animals just in general for meats, and it's just a daily occurrence, so they see it a lot.
Yeah,
so it makes sense to be like, oh, well, if I put that on, I'd turn into this animal.
And if you put one on, you probably look like one from a distance or in the dark
around.
Okay. So he's admitting to witchcraft, essentially.
Right.
He said that they had attacked dogs, which we don't love. And so so he said they'd attacked dogs, but they preferred human flesh. Specifically the flesh.
Specifically Marguerite.
Yes. Specifically the flesh of young girls like themselves. Like the girls he's talking to.
Is he trying to use this to like better himself for the proposal? Like,
I think so. I think this is his
like,
way of
let me
being
talk
like,
big.
look how cool I am. I eat
They're sitting over here
girls.
like, sir?
Yes. So Jane, presumably the oldest, I'm going to assume the third girl is like
and the prettiest.
Yeah. The prettiest and the oldest. She's like, okay, where is this wolf skin, little boy?
Yeah, prove it, bro.
Prove it. And he's like, oh, it's actually at this guy's house. This guy named Pierre Laborant, but also I call him Monsieur de la Forest.
Monster of the forest.
Master of the forest.
Ah, dang it.
Or Lord of the forest.
Lord of the forest.
He says, Monsieur de la Forest, has a, quote, big black house in the forest. Other sources mentioned that this guy was also black and rode on a black horse. So I'm
the devil?
Yes. I'm just clarifying that they're using the term black to mean I don't,
like the color black.
yes, they're not saying
African
like
descended
yes,
person.
not an African American or African European man
Right.
in the forest. Although they might have meant that because
that's a
maybe
good
they
point.
were racist.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
But yes, the devil. He has this big black house in the forest, and he said the house was, quote, an inferno in which men were being burnt and roasted. So hell. He's just got hell in the...
He's just casually found hell in the middle of the forest.
Yeah, just
okay,
hanging out there.
Cool.
But that's where his wolf
and he was
skin
like, hey,
is.
by the way, can I get us some skin?
That's where the wolf skin is.
Okay.
That's where he keeps it. And he's like, hey, Jane, you can come with me
Wink,
when
wink.
I go get it.
You want to go on a date?
Jane's like, why would I want to go to hell with you, sir? This is like the wildest date proposal ever. And then because Jean thinks this is going so well, he's like, also, by the way,
I am killing it.
killing it. He's like, by the way, if you're not impressed enough, I'm also the wolf that attacked Marguerite.
He admitted it.
And he said if he had been able to get her on the ground, he would have, quote, bitten her well. And, quote, had she not put up a defense and had he been alone, he would have eaten and brutalized her.
Oh my God.
Which does mean he would have raped her and then eaten her body.
Oh my God.
Yeah, his social skills are not.
No, he's thinking that is not Riz, sir.
It's not Riz. Yeah, he really thinks that this is like the way to get into Jane's petticoats or whatever.
It's
like,
going so like all of the trigger words you shouldn't be using when talking to
Yes.
somebody you potentially want to marry.
Yeah, he literally opened with a marriage proposal and then gave all the reasons
Like,
why.
I also am a wolf. I also know where the devil is. He has my skin. And third of all, I almost murdered and took advantage of one of you. So,
and I would have
And
if
I
you
would
didn't
have.
have that stick.
so
And-
anyway, next
who
Thursday
was-
sound good at the chapel?
Yeah, and Jane, you want to go with me down to the hell cabin in the woods
God.
and meet Monsieur de la Forest? Oh my gosh. So the girls left. They said no, thank you, and they left. And then they also went straight to the authorities and were
good for
like,
them.
"Hello, there's a child in the field who said some stuff." Because again, he's claiming to be to practicing witchcraft,
Right.
which in 1603
Not a good thing.
not something you want to be
Not a
throwing
good
around.
thing.
No. So he's arrested. He's probably not hard to find. Probably not a lot of people out there that look like him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's brought before the magistrate on June 2nd, 1603. So at first he is just like, yeah, I know about the wolf attacks. I've heard about some. I saw one time this thing that looked like a greyhound carrying a child away.
Yikes.
I'm sure they're like, greyhound? These wolves are getting like the wildest descriptions.
Yeah, they really are.
Like one's a Yorkie, one's a greyhound. One's a pig. One's a boy.
One's a boy.
Later evidence, question mark. I don't know if this is just like witness testimony or what, but later it was allegedly shown that Jean had been in many of the areas when and where attacks had occurred.
Interesting. You checked in on Facebook?
Yeah. Checked in at the cow field on this date. Marked himself safe from the wolf attack. Oh my god. Too soon. So under further questioning, he did admit that he was able to turn into a wolf and that he had killed and eaten several children.
Yikes.
He said, "Oh, there's this guy in my village that we know. His name is Pierre.
Oh my god.
Du Tiller. And he introduced me to Monsieur de la Forest when I was 10 or 11. And at this point, everyone's like, okay, Monsieur de la Forest is Satan, right? That's who we're talking about.
Right.
He said Monsieur de la Forest gave him the wolf skin as well as a salve, like a ointment of kinds. Other sources said it was like not like a potion, but like something to either take or apply to your body.
Okay.
And from that point on, Jean could turn into a wolf when he put on the wolf skin.
And the lotion, or that was just a perk? That was just a bonus?
I think my thoughts are that you only have to put the lotion on like once, right?
Oh.
But I don't know.
Gotta lather yourself up and
there's definitely a mention of him having to be greased. So maybe
that's the grease. That's gotta be the grease.
That's it? I don't know. So at this point they're like, we're gonna hold on to you for a little bit. So like, don't go anywhere, and actually why don't you just stay in the jail for a minute so we can keep talking to you. So in subsequent questioning, Jean elaborated on his story, and he's like, also my dad is a wolf, like a human that can turn into a wolf, and also we used to run around and do wolf things together. Specifically, he mentioned on more than one occasion his father greasing his body, like Jean's body, and helping him put his wolf skin on.
What?
Very weird. Which I'm now wondering, like, how big is the wolf skin, and why are you having to grease your body?
Yeah, because like
to get into it.
Stick it on there.
I know. I'm like,
ooh.
I also don't like anything that you have to like. I'm thinking of those like. Those gloves, those cotton gloves where you like put on a ton of lotion and then you stick your hand in a glove and you're supposed to like sleep in them.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still a thing or just something that like our moms did.
Yeah. And their feet, I feel like they were like socks that did the same thing.
Yes. Yeah. Which I need some of those. My feet are rough. But that's what I'm picturing, except your entire body.
So do you think they're like getting into the full skin, or do you think it is like the Revenant where it's just kind of like a headpiece and like cape kind of situation?
I feel like it's gotta be just the headpiece. Like, because the proportions of a person are not the same as the proportions of a wolf.
Like, you're not gonna like put your little feet in the paws and zip it up like a onesie. That's just not gonna work.
I mean, if you did, it would be.
I guess they did get it from the devil, though. So
they did. It could be magic. It's magic, but you still have to grease your body to get into it.
It's like latex where you have to like grease up to get any latex, or it doesn't work.
Like, he can't fix that part of it. He can't magically make it able to fit your body proportions. However,
you have to grease to get into it.
Grease yourself up. Put on the Crisco, the magic Crisco.
Magic Crisco.
So he said 2 years earlier, he and his father in wolf form had gone out and attacked a girl who was guarding a flock of geese.
Well, and this is the abusive father, right? So
yes.
like, how do we really think that he would be like taking him on these fun father-son bonding wolf trips?
Yeah, and the explanation that I heard was like, so obviously Jean is like mentally ill,
right?
And there's an idea that he was trying to take, so he's like describing his father as like wolfish, right? So he's like describing these awful characteristics of his father, but wanting to attach some kind of like intimate like bonding, like turn the bad stuff that his dad did to him,
right, or make it more animalistic.
Yeah, but he wanted to like, he's like, well, he did something bad to me, meaning like he hurt him,
right,
but he's wanting to turn that into like a bonding experience because he didn't have that
right
anywhere, which is understandable for like, especially a teenager who has a diminished mental capacity.
Yeah, has problems putting it all together anyway. It makes sense that he would make a fantastical story of these nice times of hanging out with dad. And he gets mad, but he's a wolf, so it makes sense.
And I'm also a wolf. So it's okay.
Yeah.
So he says they attacked this girl who was guarding a flock of geese.
The geese, right.
Which, by the way, geese do not need to be guarded. They can take care of themselves. And he says that they killed her and ate her in a field. But for some reason, after that incident, his father stopped taking him with him on these like wolf runs.
Okay.
He also said that his father's second wife, so Jean's stepmom, had left after she saw Pierre, the father, quote, vomit the hands of little children and dog feet.
I would also leave.
True. This is true. I also don't think I mentioned that his dad's name is also Pierre.
Oh my God.
So his dad and his stepmom, when they were asked about this, they were like, no, that did not happen.
Actually, we're allergic to dogs, so there's no way I could be a wolf.
Actually. She said, the stepmom was like, actually, I left to protect a legal claim against some property that I own.
Oh.
But like, we're still together. We just kind of like,
I see.
We had to not be married so I could keep this property, but like, we're still together.
Right. It's like those people who like don't actually get married because like one of them's still getting alimony.
Yeah.
But they're
yeah. She's like, we're still banging, but like, but I had to leave for money reasons.
I wanted to keep my vacation home, so
exactly. So his parents also said, like when they were interviewed, they're like, we believe that Jean thinks he's a werewolf, but we are certainly not involved in any way. Like, so they're like,
well, yeah, and he ran away, didn't he?
Yeah, he ran away 3 months before this.
Yeah, so it's been a while since they've seen him.
Yeah.
So they're like, you know what? He could be doing some crazy stuff out there.
Yeah. And like, I very much get the whole like, I think that you think that. Like, I believe that you believe this.
Right.
That doesn't mean it's true or that any of us believe it. But like, I believe that you think that. So Jean's story changed a lot in regards to like who was involved. So specifically his father and then the other Pierre du Tillier, the guy who introduced him to the devil.
Right.
So sometimes he would say like, no, they weren't involved actually. And sometimes he'd be like, they were very involved. But he never changed the part of the story about like, he was a werewolf and he killed people.
Right.
Like, so he's always like, I'm a werewolf. And it just would change depending on like who else was involved.
Right.
Sometimes he said that his father and Pierre du Tillier would like go out, because I guess Pierre is also a wolf. I don't know. Unclear how many wolves there are in the story. He said sometimes they would go out and look for this is so weird. They would go out and look for girls, quote, to enjoy and not eat.
Icky.
Yeah. Like, so like as wolves. Icky. So I would argue not better. That's not better. Like, no. Like,
keep the red rocket sheathed.
Just kill them, maybe.
Just kill them. You know what? Actually, just kill them.
Be a regular werewolf and kill them and eat them, please. Like, you don't need to do the other part. Icky.
But it also makes sense in his stories because we know that he has intimacy wants, but not able to communicate them properly.
Yes, and he is a horny teenage boy.
So it makes sense that would be on his forefront thoughts.
He's working that into his stories.
Yeah.
Jean said, though, he's like, but I would do that, but also eat them. So he's like, I would also do all of those things, but also I would
kill them
and eat them. And like his dad also, I think, said something along the lines of like, he'll like, you give him an apple and he'll tell you like anything you want. Like he makes up.
He likes the attention.
Yeah, like he'll tell you stories and he'll tell you that he's like
so
slept with a bunch of girls.
And they're asking him all these questions. So of course he would be like, "Let me tell you everything."
Yeah, he's like, "I'm gonna tell you all this stuff."
Yeah.
So they search his father's home among other places for the wolf skin, which they do.
No, it's not where it is. Are you not listening to the story?
I know. I'm like, well,
you gotta go to
the
black cabin in the woods.
Yeah, the home of Monsieur de la Forest. Duh. Get to the fiery inferno in which men are being burned alive.
That's where the skin is.
Obviously. Pay attention. He already told you. So they don't look there, so they don't find it, obviously. Jean was told to identify his victims that had survived. Oh. Which was not hard because he could just point to the people that had wolf
attacks,
injuries.
Right.
Yeah,
he's like that one and that one.
Marguerite,
and that one.
The girl who has a bite mark on her neck.
Right.
The girl who has her eye scratched out. The girl who has like a wolf. Like, duh, it's not hard to identify people in 1603 who've been attacked by wolves.
Especially if you're just sending out your teenage children to tend your flocks.
Not good jobs for kids. Let them work at Chick-fil-A or something. Good grief. They did get several witnesses to testify against him.
Interesting.
One girl claimed that she saw him transform into a wolf.
Oh my gosh.
And like, what's weird is that this isn't like a case of like, we've accused this woman of being a witch and now we have to find people who will like prove that.
Right.
It's a case of this kid says he's a werewolf and we are finding people to agree with him.
Yeah, interesting. Because
like,
he's pretty much admitted to it in 2 murder and 2 bad things, and we're still looking for people to.
And I have to think that like there were people who were like, obviously he's not.
Yeah.
Like obviously it's not him. Like obviously we just have a wolf problem.
Right.
But like maybe there was part of the court that wanted to like put him away and was like, let's just find people who said it was him so that we can that's
a good point. That's a good point.
He also apparently had some kind of mark on his leg that doctors inspected. He said that Monsieur de la Forest had given him this mark, like a witch's mark.
Oh yeah.
Obviously it could be anything.
Yeah.
It could be a birthmark or a freckle or
scar.
A scar.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, charcoal. It could be literally anything. It could also be like sarcoma. So like get it checked for sure.
Yeah.
So they do all these things. Okay, I'm actually not sure. He's found guilty.
Well, yeah.
But hey everyone, it's Hannah. I wanted to quickly ask if you are enjoying the podcast, please leave us a 5-star review. It goes a long way in getting the show in front of other listeners. If you listen on a platform that doesn't do reviews, please follow us on social media, like the show, or leave a comment. Thank you. We love you guys, and we hope you enjoy the show. There's also, like, another source said that they found him to be, like, hallucinating.
Interesting.
So, like, I don't know if they were like, you're guilty of being a werewolf, or if they were like, we don't think you killed anyone, but we think you're
be a little
hallucinating
crazy.
And like not like a danger to yourself and others.
Right. Okay.
Just not in a wolf way.
Not in a wolf way.
Like in other ways.
You're still scary, just not quite in a wolf way.
Like you're a danger in other ways. So, you know. So either because of his young age or because of his diminished mental capacity or both, he was spared execution.
Interesting.
Which was standard if you're found guilty of like
insanity or okay.
Which also, and I'm totally reading into this, no other sources said this, but like interesting that
it was a boy who was convicted of witchcraft, and they didn't, because I feel like, I guess I don't know like everything about the witch trials, but and obviously that's in the future for the story, but like if you were a witch, you kind of died for it.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, you can accuse I'm sure they also accused men, but like
Mm-hmm.
you accuse a woman who knows how to read of witchcraft,
Right.
and there's like no evidence against her, but you make some up. She denies everything and you kill her.
Right.
But then there's a boy who claims essentially to be practicing witchcraft, and
Yeah,
you
straight admits
yeah,
it.
and you say,
Oh, well, you're just kind
okay,
of crazy, so
well,
pat,
you're
pat on the
probably
head.
just hallucinating. Which, like, yes, he probably was,
Yeah.
you know, either hallucinating or
Yeah.
just making stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
But like, where's that logic for all of the
Mm-hmm.
for all of the other people
No, yeah,
accused
that
of
doesn't make
witchcraft?
sense.
Like, you don't think the accusers could be hallucinating?
Mm-hmm.
You don't think maybe a woman could just know how to read
Right.
or have an opinion,
Right.
or
Mm,
I don't know,
interesting.
walk around at night,
Walk
whatever else you
around
could
at
get accused
night.
for. So they're like, okay, we're not going to kill you, but we are going to send you away for life to a monastery in Bordeaux.
Oh.
They made it sound in some sources like it was like a mental institute.
Like he's gonna become a monk kind of situation, or
I think it was just like the monks were going to care for him.
okay.
So I don't know if they had other mentally...
Yeah, interesting thing to put on the monks.
Yeah. The monks. Especially knowing what we know about the monks in the Rasputin episode.
Mm.
They were doing some unsavory...
Yes.
Well, no, they weren't. They were just having sex with each other.
Right.
As far as I know, they weren't
It's just a sex
having
party.
sex with people who didn't want to.
Right. And that were already in like their little crew.
Yeah, it was like, join our club and we'll...
And
know,
we'll hang out.
We'll hang out. So while he was at the monastery, allegedly he would like run around on all fours and also
Howl at
ate
the moon. Oh.
yes. He ate a pile of raw offal. Do you know what that is?
Is it a bird?
No.
Okay, I don't know.
It's entrails of animals.
Oh, awful. I've always heard it as awful.
Is it called awful?
I don't know. That's how it doesn't mean I'm right, but I've
Okay.
heard it as awful.
Okay. It's
'Cause I
nice
think
to
it's
have
funny because
someone who doesn't know how
entrails
to
and
pronounce
it's
every
awful. But that could be literally me taking a joke and being like, "Oh, this is real.
Have some of this awful.
This is fact now." Okay, cool.
I mean, that's how it's spelled. It's OFFAL.
Yeah, I always thought it was awful.
Also,
but-
why is there a pile of that just laying around?
Well, I guess if you're like butchering your own meat,
But maybe don't let the kid who thinks
who
he's
thinks
a
he's
wolf
a wolf?
go around that.
Yeah, ew.
Have some boundaries, maybe.
Right,
for
or
where
maybe
he's...
as a wolf boy, you should have some boundaries. Like,
Well, yeah, but
maybe go for
I'm
like,
putting this on the
meat.
monks.
No,
Like-
you're right.
like,
You're
maybe
definitely
make
right.
some restricted areas where he's not allowed
right.
to go.
Right.
So 7 years after he gets put
Wow.
away, he gets visited by Pierre de Lancre.
Okay, so this is a different Pierre.
Yes, this is like our fifth Pierre
Yeah,
of the
okay.
story.
Okay.
I don't think we've met a man who's not named
Not
Pierre,
Pierre, yeah.
except for Jean.
Right.
So this guy de Lancre, I
Good
listened to a freaking podcast about this and did not
Good luck.
retain how to say his name. He was apparently an infamous Bordeaux judge who had orchestrated the Laborde witch hunt of 1609,
Oh.
which resulted in the execution of 70 people.
70?
Yeah, but side note, he believed that there were still some 3,000 witches at large, which no one else really agreed with him. And he was eventually removed from his position as judge, but he was like, 70 is not enough. There's 3,000 more out there.
Crazy.
So he's like very witch pro witches being a thing.
Wait, no.
He's pro witches exist and are a problem,
but
that
not
need to be eradicated.
pro-witch.
No, he's
anti-witch.
He's anti-witch, pro existence of witches.
Right. Okay.
And here's a fun quote from him that's just so fucking wild and unhinged that I just had to
Include
put it in here.
Love it.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
It's kind of long.
Okay.
Okay. To dance indecently, eat excessively, make love diabolically, commit atrocious acts of sodomy, blaspheme scandalously, avenge themselves insidiously. He had a thesaurus.
Yeah, no kidding.
Run after all horrible, dirty, and crudely unnatural desires. Keep toads, vipers, lizards, and all sorts of poison as precious things. Love passionately a stinking goat. Caress him lovingly. Associate and mate with him in a disgusting and scabrous fashion. Are these not the uncontrolled characteristics of an unparalleled lightness of being and of an execrable inconsistency that can be expiated only through the divine fire that justice placed in hell?
Okay, listen.
That's all one sentence, by the way.
That's crazy. First of all, that's crazy.
First of all.
And like some of that is like fine things.
Yeah, but also, how do you know anyone who does all of those things,
right,
sir?
Right, especially like loving on a goat.
like your criteria are
all 70 people that you brought to the fire.
I'm like, are these all individual qualities that like if you have one, you're a witch?
And could I love a non-stinking goat?
True. And could you love it in just like the way that a human loves a pet?
Yeah.
Not the other way.
Probably not. He would not like that. I feel like he would not like that.
But keeping toads, vipers,
and other poisonous things.
Do you make love diabolically?
Hell yes, I do. You best believe. There was another one that I was like, wait. Oh, it was the eating.
Eat excessively.
Dance excessively.
Okay. Dance indecently and eating excessively.
That's me.
Just like a Tuesday at
if
trivia.
You look me up and if you look me up in the dictionary, that's me.
Literally, I'm thinking of like our group when we win the first round and we go get like an armful of candy.
Everybody else is like, grab a candy for each person.
And we're like,
can we just have the bag actually?
Like, pick the person with the biggest hands. So we gorge ourselves on candy.
Yeah.
And then when we win, and or whenever he plays a song that we like, we dance.
We dance.
I would say indecently or whatever he said.
Indecently, according to him, for sure.
For sure. We're also showing shoulders and ankles and all sorts, midriffs, all sorts of stuff. Like, so we're doing witchcraft on a Tuesday and then going home and making love diabolically. Right. So.
Right.
I'm trying to think. Avenge themselves insidiously.
I love that. I mean, if you're not like killing somebody, obviously that's pretty insidious, but
yeah, but you can avenge yourself. You yelled at that person who cut you off. That's avenging yourself, and you passed them on a double line.
Yes, I did, and
insidiously.
Yes, I sure did. And I also tried to make eye contact. She ignored me, which she probably knew what she was doing.
That was me. When I accidentally cut someone off.
You're like, oh
no, don't look at me, or just like, haha, wave. Thank you. Me too.
My bad.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, that's Pierre. So
okay.
This is the guy who's now visiting Jean. Poor little 20-year-old now.
He's walking around with just awful hanging out of his mouth.
I know. Oh my gosh. And I should mention that this Pierre thought that Jean, so like normal people, I feel like, or 21st century people at least, I think understand that like Jean's like circumstances, his like upbringing and his mental capacity and everything, like that for sure just was kind of the perfect storm for him to then create. Like that very much explains why he created this story.
Yeah.
Pierre did not see it that way.
Of course not.
He thought that Jean's poor circumstances and diminished mental capacity were, quote, conditions that the devil could and would exploit.
Well, and the fact that his whole story was that he met the devil in the forest. I'm sure the second that Pierre heard that, he was like, oh, so you guilty.
I bet you did. And I bet it's because you're poor and you had bad parents. Like, that's the reason the devil picked you.
I see.
It's like such a self-fulfilling prophecy.
For real.
He also disagreed that Jean should have been sent to the monastery because of his age and mental status. He is like, nope, you should have killed him.
I mean,
it's
surprising not that he didn't, or that they didn't, honestly.
Us and Pierre would not have been friends, I don't think. So he goes to visit Jean and described his teeth and nails.
Oh, right.
He said his teeth were, quote, longer and wider than normal. That wider? Yeah. Wide means how much room is there in your mouth? Like, everyone kind of has the same general amount of room. Your teeth can't be that wide.
No.
Unless you're missing several.
Oh, he could have been.
So I don't know. Also, his teeth had, quote, turned half black from being used on animals and people.
Yeah.
Which, sir, he's been in a monastery for 7 years. Yeah. I'm sure they're kind of monitoring his intake.
He's not brushing his teeth twice a day.
But, like, is he eating animals and people there?
Oh, yeah, he did say and people.
And also that his nails had gone black from the root up.
Well, they were already black.
And also that's just, like...
the root up,
that's, like, dead nails, right?
Yeah, and if he's walking around on all fours all the time, like, come on.
That's dirty nails. Yeah, you smash one of your nails, you know, in a door.
No,
there's a lot of...
He's not trying to get that manicure weekly.
No, he is certainly not. I mean, no mention of his hair situation.
Interesting.
But, and I think that Pierre's the one who said that, like, his reasoning and stuff was still pretty, like, limited. But that was really all Pierre gave us. I mean, Pierre also gave us, like, a really detailed account of the trial and stuff, so we do have to thank him for historically preserving stuff.
Right.
Because apparently
is that all he wanted to do, was just go see him?
I think he probably interviewed him, but, like, all Jean was like, I still crave human meat. I still believe I'm a werewolf. I still hate my dad.
For kicking me out of the pack, that asshole.
Yeah, like, I maintain everything I said. But, like, the only other story, or the only other, like accounts of this we have are from some other guy who, like, highly embellished his version. So there's, like, a really, like, sensationalized version that's, like, mostly fictional,
right?
And then there's this guy who unfortunately, you know, wrote down a pretty detailed and accurate
but isn't the greatest guy.
We don't love him. He's a little biased about the witchcraft stuff.
Yeah, I was assuming he was gonna go there and be like, oh well, you really are as bad as I thought, so we're gonna burn you.
Yeah. I mean, thank goodness the monks were there.
Yeah, that's true. They're like, this is our puppy, leave him alone.
Leave him alone, he's our pet. This is our dog. He's a Yorkie. He puts on a wolf skin and he turns into a small dog. Who eats the offal. That we just leave out. So gross. Unfortunately, very shortly after Pierre's visit, Jean died.
Oh, no.
I know. And he was either 20 or 21. Oh, no. And I couldn't find what he died of.
Oh, no.
But it's also 1610.
Yeah.
1610
and he
or something.
Wasn't
so,
taking
like,
care of himself.
You could die of anything.
Anything.
You could step on a... What?
Okay, this is completely unrelated. Oh, no. This is a tangent as heck.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, wolves
sorry. Honestly, you can cut this out. This is such a tangent.
No, tell me.
I'm watching Bridgerton, right? I just watched the Bee episode yesterday. Oh, my God.
I love
the
Anthony
roller
Bridgerton
coaster
so much.
I went on. The first 5 minutes you watched like the terror
and
the trauma of his dad dying.
Oh my gosh. And Violet, who's pregnant with Hyacinth.
And the things that she's saying every time she spoke about his death. Like, they were asking her to come to dinner and she was like, your father was the reason I breathe.
Oh gosh.
I cannot breathe anymore. I'm doing the best I can. And I'm like...
Those are the moments when you're like...
And she was like, I wish I died so that I could have been with him. But instead, I'm here.
And, like, for me, I was like, yeah, Violet, I feel you. I feel that way right now because I'm imagining Jarek dying suddenly. And I would also feel that
she's
way.
Like, and that baby's never going to feel his warmth or be held by him or his voice.
But then you're like, oh, but Anthony also, I guess, had to watch that happen and had to grow up real fast.
Being, like, yelled at and be like, well, what do you want us to do? What do you want us to do about this? And he's like, I just watched my father die. And then at the end, and Kate gets... and he's having an actual panic attack.
I know, because he's
like, and all bees killing people I love. Oh my gosh, and I got so close. I was like dancing around my living room and Alice was asleep, so I had to be quiet. And I was like, kiss,
honestly,
kiss.
That is one of my favorite. That's okay. That
episode
whole season
popped off.
That whole season, there's so much fucking sexual tension.
Oh my god.
And honestly, I'm mad that there's not more boning, but like the sexual tension. I'm like, has anyone ever looked more sexually appealing than Anthony Bridgerton when he's having a panic attack because Kate has been stung by a bee?
And then like they like touch each other's chests.
God, and she has that perfect skin.
She really
she's so fucking glowy.
Yeah, she really does.
Like every part of her.
Oh my gosh. And then Daphne's like explaining how it feels like to be in love.
Oh gosh, I don't even care about Daphne now.
He's like sitting there like, oh shit.
She's like, it feels like you would die if the person got stung by a bee in front of you. And he's like, never felt that before. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so sorry. Side tangent. Anyway, anybody can die.
Anyone can die of anything.
Of a shock and allergic reaction to a bee sting, even though nobody understood what happened.
Jean possibly got stung by a bee.
He could have.
Or ate some peanuts or something.
Or too much awful. Too much awful makes you awful.
Too much awful. He ate some bad awful that had
it's all bad. I mean, honestly, it's all bad.
Literally anything he's eating could kill him.
Yeah.
It's a wonder he lived to 20. So, so he dies, unfortunately.
Oh, poor kid.
But he is to date the youngest person ever to have been accused of and or claimed to be a werewolf. He's our youngest werewolf.
Wow.
Yep. And that's the story of Jean Grenier.
I loved it.
Thank you.
Wow, that was so fun.
Thank you. There's a podcast called... I should know it because I'm going to reference it in the notes.
Put it in the show
I want to say it's called... it's not called Even the Tutors. It's called, like, Not Just the Tutors. Hold on. I'm listening to... Sorry, not for all of these podcast references. I'm also listening to a podcast called Believable, the Coco Birthman story. Wild.
We've been listening to a very specific call and answer. It's kind of like a Dear Abby kind of situation. It's really good. It's fun. It's called what the fuck is it called? Well, it's called Perfect Person.
Perfect Person.
It's by Miles Bonsignore, who was part of the Try Guys crew.
Okay, I know who that is. Or I know what that is.
Yeah, he's doing his own podcast. It's really good. I've been listening to it during work and everything because it's very like... Sometimes I need like a break of the murder and the ghosts and all the other things that I listen to on a daily basis. So it's kind of funny because he'll have just a bunch of like, and he's like in his like mid 30s, and he'll have a bunch of like college kids call in and be like, "Oh my god, I made out with my best friend at a party last night. What do I do?" And it's just kind of funny.
You say, nothing. No one cares. No one will care about that in 10 years.
Literally. Sometimes he says that. He's like, listen, just go have fun. This is the time of fun.
You're going to get to a point in your life where all you want to do is not leave your house, make a second cup of coffee, have your spouse go buy you more chocolate-covered almonds.
Yes.
Like, you'll have a point in your life where so much of your thoughts revolve around how to get more of a food that you want. I spent so much energy thinking about those damn peanuts. Like planning a schedule around how to get them a food.
Yeah.
Enjoy the part of your life where you can make out with random people at parties.
Right.
Because you won't be doing that for a long time.
Which you probably do. I mean, some people might.
Some people might. They're people will be judging them though.
Yeah.
The older you get. And also you're not going to like yourself if you're doing that for too long. I think, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. Some people maybe are living that life and loving it.
That's true.
Good for them. If you are, as long as you're not hurting anyone.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Party on.
I'm just saying, in my opinion, most people get to the age where they're thinking a lot about not leaving the house.
Not a hangover on a Wednesday.
Yeah. They're thinking a lot about their bird feeder. And like lawn care. So.
How to fill a gas can.
That's going to be a big problem in your life one day. Learn how to do it.
Learn how to do it.
Like, I don't know what to tell you. Oh my gosh. The name of that podcast, by the way, is Not Just the Tutors.
Not Just the Tutors.
And I listened to the episode called An Early Modern Teenage Wolf. Sorry, An Early Modern Teenage Werewolf. It's like 30 minutes, so it's not that long.
That's not bad.
But I was inspired to just listen to more episodes because it's this woman, Suzanne Lipscomb, who I think is a professor. And she interviews other people. Like, listen to one about lady pirates. And like she's British, so she's got like a great voice.
Beautiful voice, yeah.
And then you just learn stuff about history.
That's great.
And it's not all terrible.
Shout
out to not just the Tudors.
Yeah,
a very professional podcast, which this is not.
Are you sure? I'm sorry. My sign outside when I said we'll do podcast for food was only for professional podcasts.
And I did not provide any food.
No, there's no food here.
And I made you provide your own beverage. I didn't make you, actually. You
I brought my own two beverages.
Cradling.
Excuse me, drinkies.
And I forgot a straw, so you guys have to hear me slurping. Here we go.
Trigger warning.
That was louder than I intended, but I didn't spill.
Yay.
Are you practiced on how to do the socials?
I wrote a script.
I'm so excited. I should really volunteer to do them when I have other people on the show, but okay. I don't know how to do them either.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Well, before I get into socials, I'd like to ask you to like, rate, or favorite this podcast wherever you're listening to it. We have a Facebook and an Instagram at The Tales We Tell Podcast, where we post pictures and insights about every episode. If you want to see pictures but you don't enjoy the black hole that can be social media, look us up at thetaleswetellpodcast.com.
Yes.
And if you want to grab some swag, like the crow sticker, which is my favorite, by the way.
I love it.
You can check us out at the Redbubble store. You can just search The Tales We Tell. Mm-hmm. If you would like our undying love, especially Katy's.
There's only one way to get it.
You can join us on Patreon.
Yay.
Our patrons get perks with commercial-free listening or early access to content or even some fun bonus content.
Fun bonus content that we're gonna do eventually. I promise I have bonus episodes. It's just a...
It's a lot.
It's just a matter of scheduling when to record an extra episode. Yeah. We'll get there.
Well, comment below if you would like me to join again.
Comment below. We've got how many weeks until you leave?
Yeah, we have 3 weeks until I leave.
Oh my gosh. I forgot to mention, I should have introduced you as our Mothman expert.
But we haven't done my Mothman episode.
I know. I mean, if you're prepared to do it,
if you guys are ready to hear all about Indrid Cold. What? Yeah, you don't even know what that is.
I don't know what that is. I was going to say, who is that? But that's...
You'll find out someday. Comment below if you want to hear.
Comment below
if you want to hear my Mothman episode.
I do. Me. I'll comment. And comment below your thoughts on werewolves.
Oh yeah,
I guess
teen wolves
or cattle herding in the 1600s.
Or teenage cattle herding.
Yeah. Comment below. Would you let your 13-year-old daughter watch a whole herd of cattle,
especially if she's already been attacked by a wolf once?
Yeah,
and you're like, oh,
I love that they're
this
like,
is your job, so bye.
We'll give you a day to heal, and then you can go right back out.
You gotta get your job done, ma'am. Get out there.
Yeah, that's what fences are for. Just build a fence, maybe get a dog, or I don't know, what are wolves?
They should have just hired him just to be their guard dog.
They should have. Well, ironically, he was hired by someone to watch their cattle.
Good point. But that's a good point.
I did read that he did not do a good job of that.
Am I surprised?
Are we surprised?
I don't think so.
Does he seem like the kind of person you would hire for a job?
I don't think
no. Does he seem like the person who needed extra love and care at home?
Absolutely.
Yes. Could he have benefited from a loving home life? Yes.
Oh, poor kid.
I know. It's really a tragic story if you don't laugh at all the silly parts.
Well, good thing we did.
That's what the show is. Someone can comment on YouTube.
Somebody comments
about how I'm explaining this poor boy's story. Poor guy. Oh my gosh. Do you want to do this sign off that? I was like, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Oh, I was like, are we holding hands?
We can. God.
Okay, well, I guess we'll see everyone next week.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.